Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just so happy to be back in the boxing ring. It's been a long 18, 19, 20, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time. It's creeping up on 2 years. And just a very difficult time in my career, difficult time in my life. But like I tell people, I've been asked the question, would I have changed anything? And the answer is no, because, before I went into this, the lawsuits and everything that kept me out of the ring, I sought counsel. I took my time with my decision. And, I made an educated decision, and ultimately I had to be the final person to say, okay, let's do it. And I jumped in it. And, the thing is, when you stand and you fight for something that you believe in, sometimes there's consequences and there's things you got to go through. And unfortunately, a layoff was part of what I had to endure. And you can't pick your trials and tribulations, and you certainly don't know when those trials and tribulations are going to end. So I jumped head first in, and we got through it. And, I've been saying this throughout this whole promotion for this fight, that I had a great trainer in Virgil who just stayed on me and told me to stay in the gym, son. Stay in the gym when there was no light at the end of the tunnel. We didn't know when I was going to get back in the ring, and I just stayed in the gym. I stayed in the gym, and I stayed in the gym. I continued to sow seeds and just stay in the gym and kept praying and kept believing. And when the time came for all of this stuff to be over with and for me to get back in the ring, we're able to have a performance like tonight. And it wasn't, I don't think my best performance, but I didn't have to start from scratch. I'm thankful for the gift God has given me in this game, and the way I give him a return and the way I say thank you to him is by working hard when nobody's looking, eating right, living right, doing the right things. I'm not perfect, but I try to make sure that I respect the talent that I have. So when I'm in front of the lights and the cameras and the actions and all the people, they see the fruits of what's been going on when nobody was around. So that's what I'm happy about tonight, is just that we endured the trial we went through. I'm thankful for my family, my friends, my loved ones that don't get any press, and they're really the ones that push me through and help me with encouraging words, text messages, conversations, and all that good stuff. So I'm just thankful to be back on the right track. I got a new team. Rock Nation Sports did a phenomenal job. BET Network, some people had some things to say about it, like it was a downgrade, and we were in front of 92 million homes tonight. At least that's who had access to the fight. And we were able to be on The View before this fight, and that was all because of the BET relationship and the Rock Nation relationship. So, we're not afraid to trailblaze. We're not afraid to take risk, calculated risk, and we're not afraid to go the opposite direction of the crowd if that's what we feel as a team we need to do. And I'm going to say this, and I don't know if we're going to open it up for questions. My whole career, I've been the oddball. My whole career, I've been the guy that seemed to go the opposite direction of the crowd, and not intentionally. It's just the way that it's worked out. And one thing that I'm accepting at 31 years old is I'm not going to look like everybody else. My career is not going to be like everybody else's career. My legacy at the end of the day is not necessarily going to look like everybody else. It's not going to look like Floyd's. It's going to look like Andre Ward's career, the way God wants it to look. And that's what's important. So you guys read a lot of stuff. Some of it is true, some of it isn't, some of it makes sense, some of it is educated, some of it isn't. At the end of the day, you're going to always get an authentic Andre Ward. You're always going to get an Andre Ward that gives his best, and you always going to have realness when you see me fighting, when you talk to me in person, because that's the only way I know how to be. So thank you guys. I appreciate all the support. The Bay Area, man, I love you. And we showed out tonight, and I'm just thankful to be a part of this event.
I wanted to add one thing to what Andre said about this being a downgrade. Tonight, Andre Ward was trending worldwide on Twitter, so I don't know how much of a downgrade that is, but I would take it. If I was trending worldwide on Twitter.
Talk about what a weekend this was for the city of Oakland. Yesterday the parade.
Oh man, unprecedented. I mean, we won a championship before, but I don't think we won a championship and had a fight in the same week. Same week or same weekend. So, yeah, it's unprecedented. It's something that I don't think has ever happened before. And I love it because we don't get a lot of respect for some reason. The Bay Area as a whole, and Oakland specifically, but more so the Bay Area, people just, they want to look over us. I mean, you look at Steph. Like 2-3 years ago, they were arguing if he was even an all-star player. I mean, they were really saying, he's good, but, and then a couple years later, I mean, he's done what he's done, and it's the same in my career. Like, people wonder why, you know, I stay so hungry. It's because no matter what I accomplish, I always got this underdog type of mentality, because there's always that he's good, but he's this, but. And when you get enough buts, that gets you hungry enough to, you know, always want to come out and give your best. So this is unprecedented. It's needed for our city. It's a lot of negative press that comes out of here. Some of it is warranted, some of it isn't. But for this to take place, for our city and for the Bay Area to be worldwide center stage is unbelievable. Kind of long-winded tonight, my bad. It's been a minute.
Hey, congratulations on your win. I just wanted to ask you real quick. You were extremely dominant, hitting him with a lot of pinpoint shots, and he seemed to want to trade here and there. But were you surprised that he wasn't as aggressive as you might have expected? Because I know you don't consider him a tune-up. You take every opponent serious. Were you surprised that he wasn't aggressive enough, or he wasn't using his jab at all? How he came at you?
I just think it's kind of the storyline for most of my fights, you know. I think, I'm going to back up a little bit. I think this guy, and no disrespect to Paul Smith, but I think you saw how big he was tonight, right?
Right.
He probably was 190 pounds tonight. I was 180 pounds. I don't think he tried to make weight. And I think that was part of his strategy, was to come in and try to, you know, muscle me and just land one big shot. But I think guys get in there, and there's nothing about me that's scary. You know, I don't have a body where people are like, oh my God, you know, but they get in there and it's just a little bit different than what they see on television. So I think he got in there and he realized, you know, I was a little bit stronger and was hitting harder than he realized. So I think he just thought twice. So yeah, I was a little surprised he wasn't as aggressive.
If I could also ask Andre, did this bring back any memories of Aaron Rodriguez, the same tactics he
Yes,
used?
it's deja vu all over again.
Yeah.
All over again. And that's why I'm starting to think this may be a strategy for guys. And I'm going to talk to my team to try to figure out, you know, how can we, you know, offset that, because some guys don't have a problem paying a fine if they can come in bigger and hope to land a big shot.
Right.
And I'm putting myself in danger where these guys are 10 or 15 pounds heavier than me on fight night. So we got to figure that out. But yes, I think deja vu all over again.
Thank you, Andre. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Andre, who's next? You want the Golovkin, or who you want next?
My bed at home. I'm going home, sleep, chill.
After you go to bed, who you want next?
And you know what? With normal circumstances, if the landscape was the way it's supposed to be, where fighters were fighting to actually fight, they were trying to get at each other, I could answer that question. But because it's been like pulling teeth to get some of these guys in the ring, I'm going to say what I've always been said. I'm available. Period. I'm available. I'm not chasing guys. I'm not calling guys out. I'm not doing it. And I'm not going back and forth on the internet. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm done with it. These guys, they won the internet battle. I throw up the white flag. They can have it. I don't want it. I'm available like I've always been available. And that goes for anybody. So we'll see if I'm going to go up to light heavyweight. And that's the same in light heavyweight. If I stay at 68, it's the same as 68. So it's hard to just pinpoint one person, because I don't know if these guys really want to fight.
We kind of touched on that, Andre, as far as this fight was at 72, and coming back, you look sharp. But could you, saying that you can possibly move up to 75, what about 68? Could you still go back down there?
Yeah, I could make 68. My team just wanted this fight at 72 because it's been such a long layoff. So it was almost like, why stress your body to get there if you don't have to? It's not easy making weight, but it's not fun. But I'm not, hurting myself to make the weight. But I'm in the process now of, did a little work with Mackie Shieldstone. I went out to New Orleans to talk to him. He obviously has a track record with Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, moving those guys up in weight. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So he's taking me through a battery of tests just to see where my body fat is, where my lean muscle mass is, and to see if it's safe to make 68 or if it's safe to go up, because when we go up, we got to stay up. So we got to make sure it's the right move to make. And then Verge, man, he knows me. And ultimately, he and I got to sit down and I got to say, what do you think? So in the next week or so, we'll sit down and we'll try to make that decision, and hopefully it's the right decision to make.
And I'll follow up for Dave, and maybe both of you guys can answer this one. This is your first fight with Andre under the Rock Nation banner, and I know how important it is. You know, Andres right now, he's back. He's still in the prime of his career. How do you make the #2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world into that global icon, into that pay-per-view superstar that he wants to be?
Well, it's like I said before. You know, people throw around global superstar and they throw around pay-per-view star. I've been a professional for 10 years. And there's a Mexican-American and there's an American who have broke through that barrier in the 10 years that I've been a professional. That's Oscar De La Hoya, that's Floyd Mayweather. Everybody else came from another country and brought their fan base with them. Miguel Cotto, Felix Trinidad, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. There are no pay-per-view stars right now from America outside of Floyd Mayweather. So that's not something we can just throw around and say, well, when are you going to do it? It just doesn't happen like that. A lot of things went right for Floyd to get to the position he got in. He had his Arturo Gatti, his first pay-per-view. He had his Carlos Baldemir, his Zab Judah, his Oscar De La Hoya, his Ricky Hatton. I wish I had those kind of rivals and those kind of opponents. I don't. So you can't make that happen. We just got to continue to fight, continue to win, and it has to happen, because the thing is this, you're not a pay-per-view star because you participate in a pay-per-view, right? You're a pay-per-view star when you can command the A side of a pay-per-view no matter who you fight. Time in and time out. So it's not an impossible thing to do, but I get asked that question, like, we would love for that to happen, but I need the right dancing partner, I think, first. And then I just think it's a fight that the fans have to demand, the media. You guys have to demand it and put pressure on these guys. And then it's something that's going to draw interest where a cable network like HBO will say, this has to be pay-per-view. So that's the long answer for me. It's not like these things don't just happen. You know, it takes a lot of time. So, but hopefully we're closer than we've ever been. Hopefully I mean, I feel like my side is ready. I just think we need the right dancing partner. And then we can get our first one under our belt, then we can move on and say, okay, let's get some more.
Andre, got a question.
Did that answer?
You answered that.
Okay.
I wanted to get Dave's thoughts on that.
I think Andre, you know, he gave a great answer. You know, becoming a pay-per-view star is not something that, you know, you sprinkle dust on someone and it happens. It's something that happens over years, and it involves chemistry, and it involves the right opponents, and it involves, you know, a little bit of luck. And, you know, as he said, you know, Floyd had a pretty good path to doing it. You know, Andre's opponent path isn't, you know, what I would say is as easy of a star build as Floyd's was. So, you know, you have to work with what's out there and with what's in front of you. You know, we're going to put him into our engine at Rock Nation, which I think gives him an advantage over other fighters out there in terms of branding and marketing and exposure. And, you know, we'll take the fights as they come. And if they become pay-per-view fights, that's great. They become pay-per-view fights, and, you know, Andre makes a lot of money, and everybody's happy. But if he, you know, continues to fight on HBO and he makes a great living for himself, that's great too. I mean, no one's saying that, you know, the pinnacle of success in boxing is that you're a pay-per-view star. You can accomplish a lot without doing that. But obviously, look, it would be great icing on the cake for him if it were to happen.
And it's tough. Floyd Mayweather made it hard for us. Like, now it's Floyd or bust. And we have to enjoy what Floyd has done, because that may never be done again for a very long time. I mean, I got some posters in my gym, and I forgot that those fights were pay-per-view fights, like Jermaine Taylor, Hopkins, all of them, right? Tarver Hopkins. And it's like today, I don't even know if they would put those fights, like if me and Chad fought back then, that's a pay-per-view fight. If me and Kovalev fought then, that's a pay-per-view fight right now. It's just different. Floyd changed the landscape and changed the game, so we got to kind of play accordingly.
Andre, the landscape is totally different now, because if you look, I think it's a good time for you to come back.
Appreciate it.
Your comeback is at a great time, because you think about it. Boxing is more exposed than ever. It's coming on just regular TV, just like regular sports used to, just like boxing used to. And high-profile guys, quote-unquote, you saw what happened to Bronner.
What happened?
He did it. He lost.
Well,
He lost?
He lost. Right? So it doesn't mean that you rule the internet, you rule the ring. And you are back as you're undefeated. So that's what's important. And going forward, we don't have to question who you're going to fight next. I heard you tell Golovkin's people it was no problem that you're available. As far as your career is concerned here in Oakland, do you see yourself fighting anywhere outside of Oakland to do these fights? Or?
I mean, if you think about it, I got 28 fights. I've only fought here 7 times. If you think about it, it's 21 times elsewhere. But I'm not going to apologize for fighting at home. Some guys fight exclusively at home and nobody says anything. But so I'm trying to figure that out. That's easy math. I fought here 7 or 8 times and I got 28 fights. But I'm not going to turn this into a pity party or nothing, but I've always been held to a different standard. It's just what it is. This guy can fight this level of competition. Oh my God, he's the next. I'll fight a Paul Smith. What is he doing? Why is he fighting Paul Smith? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got a dynamite team behind me. Antonio Leonard, Rock Nation, James Prince, Josh Dubin. My team is together. All I got to worry about is fighting. They're gonna do their part. People are gonna write what they write. We're gonna be gracious to them. We're not gonna get caught up in the nonsense going back and forth. God bless you. Oh, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We're just gonna keep doing what we do because when my time is up, I'm moving on to the next chapter of my life. You know, Floyd is doing what he's doing, and we may never reach his pinnacle, but it's a lot of guys having great careers in between there, building legacies, making great livings, affecting people's lives, role models, you know, getting out of bad situations, and boxing gave him a better life. So I know Floyd set the bar high. Just appreciate that. But man, in between that's a lot of good stuff going on. It's a lot. I mean, look at Broner and Sean. I mean, those guys, they risk a lot tonight putting that on the line. Same thing me and Chad Dawson did. Like, I just came off the Super 6. I could have parlayed that for a little bit, but I went and fought him, and he fought me, and you know what I'm saying? So it's great things happening in the sport, and I think we just need to look at that and appreciate it. Just appreciate it.